All right. We dusted off the mics. We dusted ourselves off. Andrew, we just threw you in a closet the last year. Put a sheet over you, threw you in there. Oh, we finally need ourselves again. Let's go.
We're back, you motherfucker. Jump right into it.
Yeah, thanks for writing. Welcome back. Right, we unofficially changed the name to Thanks for Not Writing for a time there, but we're back. We're back to Thanks for Writing.
Yeah, we're back in the parks.
Yeah, let's start with something. This was your return to getting out to the parks, right?
My first time in a park in about 2 years. Went to Great Adventure and rode the Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil Coaster. Coaster's in the name.
Yeah, why do they do that?
I don't know.
I don't know when that started. A few years ago, it's like you have to put coaster because people won't know.
So they did it again. Jersey Devil Coaster.
I'm never going to say that, but okay.
Of course, no one is.
It's just Jersey Devil.
Yes, of course.
Which is it's a fine enough name. It's original.
I like that. I like that very much.
It's original, and it's appropriate for the park and the area that it's in. It makes sense.
I like they put a little sign up there as you approach the ride. Now entering the Pine Barrens. So it's way out there in the Pine Barrens.
They actually made theme. Sure. They did a little theming. Why not?
Single rail, Rocky Mountain machine, second gen, the biggest one of its type so far. It's a decent size. It's not huge, but it's a decent size.
No, that's the first thing that struck me, just visual, is that it looked kind of small. But at the same time, I also knew that that was just looking at it through my eyes today, but I know that it really isn't that small. Yeah, what is it, 130?
130, goes 58 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really that small. It's just we've gotten so used to the giant rides so that it just made it, seem not so impressive, especially in that park, which has a lot of giant rides.
Yeah.
You're hit in the face with giant coasters when you park.
Right.
Because, Green Lantern is a larger ride. But anyway, and also the track is very slight, but that's the gimmick. It's supposed to be very thin, and it's everyone's single file. And we've already covered all that.
The first thing I noticed was it's a little bit of a bare bones ride, or it almost seems a little prototype-ish, which is a little strange.
Little bit. I was almost going to say, but I think you're going to a different direction than I thought. The ride as far as theme is bare bones.
Yes.
Let's just say that. It's just a coaster track that they built on dirt.
I like the train. I like how it's like the devil's eating the track. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, the front looks cool.
But really what I was kind of referring to is it's really the trains that look almost unfinished. Aside from the theme, the themed front part of it that's part of the first car.
The devil's head.
The devil's head. Yeah, it's like you can see like the gears and stuff where the the restraints come down and just like the seat and everything.
Where the restraints are going to ratchet and stuff. Like you see all that.
And I don't think there's like wheel coverings. It's like everything's exposed.
It looks like a prototype. But the track too, really. And part of that is because it's so unique. But if you compare it to what has been around since the late 50s, starting with Matterhorn and the tubular steel rails, that looks like much more of a finished product than riding on an I-beam.
Yeah.
It's just the I-beam with the extra metal that's like welded and bolted at the seams to kind of keep it together. That just doesn't produce a finished look. The whole thing looks kind of prototype-ish.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's like an ugly looking ride necessarily. It was just a little more raw than I was expecting.
Yeah, well, it's like up till now, I've only seen stuff like that in rare cases in pictures from maybe something overseas or something. Some bizarre, thing they built in another country that And I'm like, it's probably not even safe, and I'm never going to ride that. And, that's what goes through your head. It's like, and I know what this is, and I know it's Rocky Mountain, and they've established themselves at this point for sure. But it just has a different look.
And I'm sure they'll refine that as time goes on. But none of that really affects the ride experience, I don't think. So no. What Six Flags does, or I guess how the ride was designed, is the train just doesn't stop. It's really like an omni mover when it goes into the station. It kind of slowly rolls, and you just kind of hop on. So I really like that. That's a nice addition because you're single file, so capacity isn't huge. They were running 4 trains, which I was really happy to see, and they were pumping them out.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were going to have 4 trains, so that's
right.
Good. In the end, they figured it out. That's what it came down to. They knew what they had on their hands. They know that it's lower capacity, the whole single file thing, all the concerns that we had going in with this ride type, and we were so disappointed that nobody held out or forced Rocky Mountain to finish the larger version of this that they had conceived, but I don't think ever built, and at this point may never.
Yeah.
And I still think they should, actually, especially if they ever want to work with Disney or Universal. And we know those companies do work with the roller coaster manufacturers now. They don't do everything in-house. Universal never did, and Disney used to, but they don't anymore. So they're going to need to do something even higher capacity than this if they really ever want to do that. But for now, I guess it's working. Yeah, they kept it moving. The trains don't stop, and everybody one at a time gets out, and the next person files in. As long as everybody involved is paying attention, and I mean the guests, it works beautifully. Because they literally will start unloading the train one at a time. So like the train starts rolling into the station slowly off the final brake run, and then the first person in the front car gets out, and then the next person in line is summoned to fill that in. And then car 2, same thing, and then car 3, and it just sort of, as they're rolling into the station, it's all happening. And it kind of is beautiful. And what I'll say is, take it for what it's worth, if the Crowded Great Adventure could handle that, then I think just about any park could. So it was a nice thing to see, because that was it's one of the harshest crowds to test that on, and it was working. So people were paying attention and were doing what they needed to do. When it was their turn to get out, they got out, and when it was the next person's turn to get in, they were paying attention and they would go and get in. So that all worked nicely.
I don't know how realistic it is to I'm not going to say expect. I'm not going to expect coasters in the future to all move to this sort of model where the train just doesn't stop in the station. But I would like to see that more. We did have that with Hagrid, and that worked fine too. So it would be good if other manufacturers could sort of figure that out.
Yeah, well, I think Rocket is even where Universal started with it,
right?
And it worked out really well for them there, and then they did it with Hagrid. I know. I think Cobra's Curse does that at
that's right.
Tampa. So we've been seeing it in Florida a bit more. Interesting though, with this one, this was pointed out by someone else to me. They did it on Jersey Devil without a moving walkway.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because all those other examples, I believe there's a moving walkway that's helping you make it even easier for you to get into the train. In this case, they didn't do that. Yet it still works really well, and I did not find it a problem getting in or out. And again, I didn't see anybody else having a problem either. All different ages and sizes of people, I didn't see having any issue. Obviously, they do have to occasionally stop it if maybe a handicapped individual. We expect that, even the classic Disney Omnimovers, that's just how it is. So that's fine. And then every once in a while, sometimes it actually was going too well, I think, and then the train ahead of it didn't clear to the block break yet, and then it would stop before the lift, just because depending on how efficient it went and if there was a need for a stop or not. So that was fine. Single file, it's fine. It didn't add or take away anything, I guess, for me.
Not for me either.
And I guess I from what I noticed, the small sample set, at the time when we had our couple of rides that were going with us, the people, I don't think it seemed to matter to anybody else either. I didn't see anybody else freaking out. Oh God, I it's so hard for me to do coasters in the first place, and now I'm made to do it, without my boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or whatever, next to me. I didn't see anybody doing that, nor did I see anybody loving it either. It just sort of was what it was. It was just kind of like, all right, this is what this ride is. Again, I still think they should go for the larger model, because why not? I certainly don't want to see the industry start normalizing single file trains.
Yeah.
You know, it's bad enough we got into that other just kind of those Gerstlauer and the Eurofighters and the other copies of that. Those just smaller rides that have suddenly passed as major additions to major amusement parks. And we've talked about that before. You know, that's been a bad trend. This at least is larger than those. You know, it's larger than the average Eurofighter or Skyrocket 2 type edition, while still not being full B&M scale. It's a nice middle ground. This is more appropriate. I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
As a concept. And then I love the ride. I'm going to just jump out and say it real quick. I got to say it. It reminded me, and I know in some ways Rocky Mountain might be this way already for people, even with what they've done so far. But this ride, really, this was their first, I guess, all steel. Like, you know, it's really a steel ride in every sense. It's not kind of a weird wood structure or something, you know. This felt to me like if aerodynamics was still alive today, this is the kind of thing they'd be doing.
Oh, okay.
And so this felt like, at least as far as I can imagine, and I can imagine a lot, this is like what a 21st century or a 20 years into the 21st century Arrow would be like. You know, I don't know if they would have went single rail or not, but just the general feel of the ride just kind of felt like a smoothed out modern Arrow. So I like that. I really appreciated that.
It definitely feels like a Rocky Mountain. It has that Rocky Mountain attitude. It has all the twists and turns that you come to expect from them, and the cool different types of inversions. You know, where it'll twist one way and do a fake out and say, no, we're actually going the other way. And it even does I think it does like the underside of an arch kind of thing that they have on Goliath.
You don't think it does. It's the most exaggerated one yet.
Yeah.
I could see it's right there in front of you at the entrance when you walk in to the queue. So we were seeing it, and I just was like, holy shit. Like, not, you know, and not that kind of thing gets me nervous or juiced up, you know, but I could just see off ride that's like the longest one yet. But it's cool, and it's comfortable. It works.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It zips through that course quickly, you know, it has a good amount of speed, doesn't really slow down. I mean, really, I really liked it. I thought it was a great ride. The only issue for me is everything after the brake run, which is 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through the ride. Everything after that brake run is pretty throwaway. It doesn't really do a whole lot. It just kind of winds around for a little bit before it gets back to the station. That's a little unfortunate, but everything up to that point is very good.
I'd say, yeah, it's about 2/3 through. It's about 2/3, 1/3.
Yeah.
With the brake run. I think actually you mentioned it's Rocky Mountain style. It definitely is. I agree with that. However, I actually think it's not as twisted as what they've been doing lately, compared to Steel Vengeance, and even that smaller one. I'm trying to think at Kentucky Kingdom. It's like Storm.
Oh, Storm Chaser.
Storm Chaser.
I think Storm Chaser.
This doesn't have, I think, as many of the. I think there's only one of those. Like, it banks oddly. It's like a hill, an airtime hill, but it's like banked to one side. Where they started getting into doing that so many times, even on those retrofit jobs, and it didn't do that nearly as much. Didn't have as many of the weird little dips. I don't know if they're weird, but just where it dips really small a lot of times on purpose. Didn't do that. Doesn't really do that at all. Actually, it's really just traditional bunny hills up into the final break, as opposed to those little dippy doodles or whatever you want to call them, dippy doos.
Yeah.
So I didn't think actually it was as twisted. Also, it really is just like a triple out and back. You just kind of go out and back in the same line, and I like that because I if anybody wants to hear it, listen to my Steel Vengeance review, where I kind of tear into it for doing what I thought was too much of that crap. You know, where they almost got too afraid to have any straight lines at any point, and it just gets so silly. And I didn't like it, actually. So I like this. I think this is the right amount of twists and turns and odd angles while still showing some restraint. Then to your other thing, yeah, it is an all first half or first 2/3 ride. The major blunder was all the inversions happened there. And then after the
Yeah.
after the break, mid-course break, there's no other inversions. It's just again like one more overbank turn, and then just like bunny hills. That's it. Just airtime hills, which are fun, but they needed to have like a final corkscrew or something in that last part. That was a major oversight. I don't know how that got past everybody, but so yeah, it's they didn't leave enough for the finale. It sputters out, but what's there is really fun. I liked it. I found the restraint to be better than what they've been doing on their steel wood hybrid jobs. Although the train is still awkward, the way that your legs are kind of at an odd distance, or your feet, I guess, are at an odd distance apart. I don't know what they were thinking with that. I don't know why they couldn't just have the average natural human sitting position distance of feet. I don't know why they made it a little bit wider. So you're at this weird, like your legs at the knees are out at an odd angle.
They're very far apart. It's really weird.
Yeah.
You climb into the train and you notice immediately because you're forced to spread your legs like very far apart.
Spread them. Sit down and spread them.
I mean, it's not uncomfortable or anything, and especially during the ride, it's totally fine. It just caught me off guard the first time.
I guess I'm kind of used to that now on something like Hagrid or like a Pony Express, where but that's because you are actually straddling something though. Like that's what the ride seat is. It's mimicking a horse or a motorbike, but this you are just sitting down in a chair like a normal coaster, but yet you're underneath you. Your legs are forced apart, and that is weird. It didn't bother me on the ride at all once it got going, but you definitely every time you sit down on the station, it's like, oh, this again.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, and I don't know what they were thinking with that either.
Part of the reason why that's so strange too is that this is the second generation of these too. It's not like this is the first one they did. It's like they had time to kind of sort that out, and I guess they just didn't.
And I will say it's definitely best in the back.
Yes, it is. It is better in the back. We did it in the front and the back. We did it in the front first, and I could tell right away. I was thinking the whole time, like, this isn't bad, but I bet it's really good in the back. And then we got the back next time, and it was kick-ass in the back.
Yes, it definitely improved in the back. Not that it's terrible in the front either. It has a little bit of something, but yeah, this is one of those rides where getting the pull off the first lift is just makes such a difference. It brought the drop alive even more, and then you whip through the course. Yeah, it's all really good. Overall, Rocky Mountain does know what they're doing. There's even, I think it's the second, the turnaround over the station where it almost looks impossibly tight.
Yeah.
You go up, and then it's a really tight turn before getting, like a fan turn and then into a drop, and it looks like it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's really not. It really just kind of flows.
I do agree that this is more straightforward for Rocky Mountain, where it's like just kind of figuring out a way to get to the inversions and have your exciting turns without getting really crazy with the twists and the angles and all that stuff. I wonder if it's a sort of inherent to this ride type, this single rail coaster type that they have, or if they're maturing. I would use the word maturing as a company and as designers to say, all right, we did some wacky, crazy shit in our past, but we're kind of settling down a little bit, and we're kind of getting rid of some of the twisty, turny, crazy crap and getting a little more to the point.
That's an interesting thought. I like that. Well, you got to ride Lightning Rod.
Oh boy, okay.
That plays into what you just said, actually. Now, you just made me think that. Lightning Rod does feel a little more mature for them as well. So maybe there is something to that.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, they're a relatively young ride manufacturer, and they're gonna sort some stuff out. It looks like they're doing that, so that's good.
Yeah. So overall, a good addition to Six Flags Great Adventure.
Yes, it is.
I will say, I know I said it there. I think this is the best roller coaster addition to that park, probably since El Toro.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
All the way back in 2006. I do like Justice League, so I'm not going to say it's the best edition of any type. I'll say Justice League was a good call for that park.
Oh, yeah.
I like that ride there.
Of their current lineup, I think it might be like my third favorite coaster there, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they have a lot of coasters, so
you want to go there.
I think it's coming out pretty high for me. It's like Nitro and El Toro I still like better, I think, but Jersey Devil I think is then right there. Although Batman the Ride still kicks ass, so I don't know. That's tough.
I think it's not as good as Batman either.
Okay. All right. So maybe it's like
I'm not,
fourth.
and that's just one of those things. It's like B&M invert. That's always top 2 or 3 in every park pretty much that it's in.
Yeah.
So that's tough, but it's better than Medusa Bizarro.
Yeah.
They now have a better sit down looper.
Right. Yeah.
Again, like Scream Machine, I always liked better, and then now I like this better. So, Jersey Devil, come down and ride it, challenge the devil, or get chased by the devil, or I don't know what the story or lore is. That they put the storyboards, just those still signs with the story on it, like outside the queue, like at the very beginning, so you never have a chance to read it.
Right.
And we didn't. We didn't really wait at all either, which was great. There is not one but 2 nasty boathouses, queue houses of switchbacks. They anticipate some waits, I guess, at some points, but on the day we were there, we kind of got right on, so it was good. So great addition. You got to go check it out. We've been gone, though. Obviously, we've been off air for quite a while. We thought we'd also just kind of quickly go through some of the other comings and goings in the roller coaster world. Some of the other new rides that have opened and also or have been announced and will be opening in the next year or so. And then also there's been a few roller coaster closures.
All right. Now, some of these, I honestly, I don't remember if we talked about them or not because it's been a year. So if we did already mention some of these in a previous episode, too bad. We're going to mention them again.
It's new to us because
Sure.
we don't remember.
Okay. First one, Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay.
Now, I think we at least mentioned it. So I think it had already been announced as an idea, as a concept. But I don't know. Now there's finally like a video and artwork and all that shit.
Yeah, this was one of those that was supposed to open in 2020.
Now slated for March of 2022.
So, yeah, so all the Busch and SeaWorld parks, they pushed all their stuff back to 2022.
Okay. Well, it's a Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, the Rocky Mountain Gwazi.
And they combined them, right? This is all...
Yeah.
It's a giant ride now?
They did one of those, yeah, an old sort of Twisted Colossus, but it's just, one long course instead of 2 in 1, like Twisted Colossus.
No, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say this is a Storm Chaser deal.
Oh, yeah, that's the better one. Yes, it's like a Storm Chaser.
This is where they took the 2 and made it 1, but more traditionally 1. A traditional one. Not the weird, you go through the same thing twice. And that is awesome for what it is, though, by the way.
Yeah, Twisted Colossus. Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things I actually miss from California.
So, Gwazi was a terrible ride, and this has to be an improvement. Although, I don't know, you were really down on Still Veggin', so I don't know if you're going to like this.
I was going to say, this will be a terrible ride. So then we're all fucked. That's it. End of story. No, well, I go up and down. My faith has been restored a bit in Rocky Mountain with the Jersey Devil that we just talked about. So I don't know. I don't hate all of their stuff. For whatever reason, that time that I was there, Steel Vengeance did rub me the wrong way. I could see myself maybe being better or maybe making amends with that ride in the future. I don't know. We'll see. I will say this will be an improvement. It can't be anything of what Gwazi was. Gwazi was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I'm almost a little surprised they even bothered to keep Gwazi as part of the name.
Well, that's what they've done. That's like, well, I guess that's what Six Flags has done.
You say they, but yeah, that they being Six Flags, not Rocky Mountain. They don't necessarily name their own rides. So
actually, this is kind of funny. I didn't realize that they
why
stole Six Flags' thing.
Why did they do that? Like, why didn't they just call it something completely different? Because Gwazi is, I feel like, kind of a tainted name. It's just known to be a shit ride.
That's a good point. They probably should have just given it a whole new name.
Yeah, instead they did copy Six Flags and we'll add Iron to it.
All right. It was
It's Iron Rattler. It literally is Iron Rattler.
Yeah. Okay.
Iron Gwazi. So that was a dumb idea.
But it was a good idea to do this to Gwazi.
No, the concept of the coasters is fine. This is Rocky Mountain's big debut in the Florida market.
Oh.
That lucrative, I guess I'll say greater Central Florida market, because this is a little bit outside that in Tampa, but this park is considered to be part of that, so it's close enough. This will give them exposure to some people that maybe don't ride coasters or don't go to parks except for Florida, and there are a lot of people like that. I think it'll be good. It's a good idea, and it'll be interesting to see where it lands in that park, because Kumba and Montu are just really strong, and I'd like to think that there's no way this can really be better than the third ride in the park. But I guess who knows, because sometimes these come out really cool too. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, this is Busch / SeaWorld's first Rocky Mountain. So we'll see how they like it. Okay. Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando. Now, all right, I get this a little confused because they did Icebreaker and Pantheon, and they're like very similar rides, but they're different manufacturers.
Oh, no.
Okay, Icebreaker is Premier. Pantheon was Intamin.
It's called Icebreaker, but the track is bright orange. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at, again, I guess this is a video because it's finished, right?
It is finished now. Yeah, I don't know if it was supposed to open in 2020. I can't remember. Probably. I think it probably was. Now, I think the idea of this is the whole thing is forward, really. I think just the initial launch, I guess, is backwards. And then you just go forward through the whole thing.
Oh, it just has a weird, like a double launch.
It's like it is like
it's like you launch forward, but with not enough speed to then it's like a controlled rollback almost, and then you go backward with more speed, and then forward again with even more speed, and then that propels you through the course.
Yeah, and I think
it's just some weird kind of start and stop.
Yeah, and they do the same thing with Pantheon.
It's like a rollback fake out kind of thing or something, and it's like, oh, we didn't have enough speed, and let's try it again, and then or kind of like the start of an impulse coaster.
Sure.
Where it's forward, backward. Okay, I see.
No inversions, which is interesting.
No inversions, but it's going to have those dumb shoulder straps.
Yeah.
As I see here in the picture. Well, at this point, is everyone just copying everyone's restraints?
I think so.
It's getting harder to... Well, track 2, kind of. It's not as easy as it used to be to see track or see a train and know who made it. Back in our day, back when we came up, that was... That, with the exception of the fact that Vekoma totally ripped off Arrow's designs, and there is a story to that, and watch the great documentary, you could hear more about that. But with the exception of that, every other manufacturer, it was very distinct. You know a B&M from looking at it. You knew an Intamin, versus Arrow, and then even a couple other players that were involved at the time, like Premier. Whereas now, it really, you don't know, because they're all just ripping each other off constantly. It's almost becoming kind of unified, where there's almost just one style track and one style train, and everyone's just kind of doing it. It's weird. Or the same manufacturer will change from ride to ride and not hold a design for a while like they used to. It's just different than it used to be.
I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, you tell me no inversions too, so I don't think this is going to be that interesting.
No, I know. I actually didn't realize there were no inversions until I saw it just now, and this really doesn't seem that exciting, honestly.
No, it actually looks like it reminds me of that whatever it was, Force One or whatever the hell from Magic Mountain.
Max
Force. Full Throttle. Max Throttle. I know that guy. Good guy, Max Throttle.
Yeah, that is the closest comparison.
This almost seems like a step down because it's... I mean, the course might be better because I didn't really like that ride. Neither one of us did.
No.
We've done an episode on that. But that seemed even more advanced in the fact that it had its weird forward-backward launching thing in the middle. Like, they figured out how to get it in the middle, mid-ride. Here, it's even less... It's not hidden. It's like, while you're waiting, you're obviously going to see it going. It's like, this almost seems like a step backward. Where it's... This one, you can see how it's being done. Like, I know we're having trouble because it's not open yet and we haven't been there yet. And we're just looking at pictures and artwork and videos. But, like, once you go, I think it's going to be very obvious. Like, oh, it just shifts over here, and then you go over here, and then, okay, I get it. Whereas the Full Throttle had a little bit of mystery to it. Because you were in an old monorail tunnel, and and it was kind of hidden, and there was some audio involved, and I don't know. This one just seems like it's going to be kind of straightforward and just not that interesting.
Yeah, everything about it is smaller than Full Throttle.
Oh, and it's even smaller.
So it's like, it's like Icebreaker's 93 feet. Full Throttle was 164. Full Throttle went 70 miles an hour. This is only going to go 52.
Well, this seems like it's meant to be a family ride.
Yeah.
It's working in an interesting thrill gimmick into a family coaster. So giving the family a chance to do something like this together and not just reserving these kinds of advanced launch technologies just for, the highest thrills. They're trying to do something for families. I kind of get that. It seems like even a step backwards for Bolton.
Really. Oh, no.
Like, in a way, like, doesn't that seem more innovative?
It does, yeah.
Like indoor and outdoor and the drop track. I guess they didn't want to do that so close to Hagrid.
I guess.
Another ride that I'm not excited about. That's a theme here, I guess.
Yeah, that's the most exciting.
I'll admit, though, I mean, this is just for me and maybe probably us. We're a little jaded, but, we've been around a while. Yeah. I can understand if you're 15, and you're just getting into your coaster enthusiasm. This is going to seem really awesome. So I don't want to shit on anyone else's parade here. I don't want to shit on your parade because that's just weird. But I have to call it how I see it at this point in my life. Like, this doesn't excite me. I think the big thing here is, and this will be a theme too, SeaWorld parks are moving continually to being more ride parks.
Yeah,
that's still happening. And we expected that. So, that, and I think that's a good thing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're all really bulking up their coaster count. I mean, SeaWorld San Diego put in a B&M dive machine that, hasn't opened yet. And SeaWorld San Antonio put in I think it was a GCI Woody recently. So it's like, yeah, they're all bulking it up.
And they should. Well, what's the next SeaWorld have for us?
Okay.
What is this? I see what
SeaWorld right. San Antonio.
This will take a second.
They're putting in a S&S Scream and Swing.
A not your average backyard swing.
That's right.
According to their copy here. It is Tidal Surge. Great flat. The only thing really for me with this, I don't care about this installation, but I'm happy that there's more of them going in.
Yeah.
Because it was a weird thing. They hit the scene big. They had a little mechanical trouble. And it seemed like maybe they were going to go by the wayside. Maybe they were going to go the same way that the SWAT did, which also was a very awesome ride, but was also known to be, I think, mechanically unreliable. And there was only ever, I think, the two. And then that's like wiped off the face of the earth now, like it never happened. And it's a shame. And I was worried that these weren't going to really make it, that the current ones were going to eventually close and that no new ones would go in. And it looks like that's not the case. It looks like they're back better than ever.
No, at least the SeaWorld and Busch Parks are keeping them alive because Busch Gardens Williamsburg put one in a couple years ago.
It's good enough that I really can't complain. If they put it in every one of their parks in the next few years, I think it's a good way to go. It is one of the best flat rides out there. Yeah. It's great. It's great. If you listen to our flat ride episode, it doesn't quite pass the full best flat ride test of having different ranges of motion, but I guess just because it's so big and powerful, it just works. It's just a great ride. So I think it's cool. And they're theming it. They're going to make it look like it was under the ocean for years, I guess. Like it was unearthed, I don't know, what do you say? Unoceaned? I don't know what the term for that is. But like it was exhumed from the ocean and it has like coral and shit growing on it. And I don't know if it's going to actually look like that, but the artwork is like that. So whatever. But cool stuff.
All right. Next, Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger.
Wait, hold on. I need a drink for this. What? That name is too silly.
That's a funny name. I like it though. It's like every time you say it, your voice should get all distorted and weird. Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger.
You mean
Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger?
It's such a it's kind of a great name. I really love it, actually.
Located in Crackaxle Canyon Scream Punk District.
It's all scream punk. Well, that's right. So this is it's a steampunk scream punk ride.
Special features: goes upside down. Who puts that? What the hell? This is the official website. The general manager's 13-year-old son wrote this.
Okay, well, hang on. So this is going in Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. This is a B&M dive machine.
It's a show park, really.
It is.
That'll gag the other Opryland.
So, and it's a kind of a smaller one. It's only 150 feet.
Why is it so tiny?
Dr. Diabolical doesn't like them too big. 2 inversions.
2.
So this is a very similar layout to all of these other dive machines. They all have more or less the same layout. I do like a dive machine. Or at least I like Griffin is really kind of what it is. It's like Sheikah's okay, and Val Raven was okay, even though that was a big
also
one.
Just okay. Yeah, no, they got it right once, and it's called Griffin.
Yeah.
And I love that ride, yeah. Griffin really is the only one that's ever needed of this ride type. This is most likely not going to change that. I guess it's the 8 across. It's a smaller train.
Yeah, everything about this is smaller, yeah.
But it's Fiesta, Texas. And it's 2022. It's like it's this... what will probably turn out to be a better part of a 4 or 5 year period of this never-ending pandemic that we're in. So the fact that they're getting something like this, a B&M at this time, I guess the park should be happy, and I guess we should be happy, just because no one else is doing something like this right now.
Yeah, that is cool. This actually isn't a ride that was supposed to open in 2020. This is a brand new ride for 2022 that they announced during the pandemic.
Yeah, I really don't understand that. How Six Flags had one outstanding contract with B&M and a little bit of money, and why Fiesta, Texas?
I don't know.
Not Great Adventure, not Great America, not Magic. I'll say Magic Mountain, but Magic Mountain has been getting too much shit. I never thought I'd say it, but that park has too many roller coasters. They got to stop, and they don't have the staff to maintain them. They didn't have the staff to maintain them years before the pandemic. I can only imagine what that park looks like today. I don't think I want to see it right now.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that one out. But I mean, not one of the other big players in the chain. That's just odd to me. I don't know how they decided on this park to get what will probably be the only B&M going in 2022 in this country. I just don't know how that comes to be. But whatever. I mean, it's. Although it's not record breaking or anything anyway, so maybe that's what part of it. But if Great Adventure does eventually get a dive machine, I guess maybe they want the next tallest one to beat Cedar Point yet again.
Yeah.
Which I could see them wanting to wait for that, if anything. And they did just get Jersey Devil, so it doesn't have the water splash, and I really do miss that when it's not there. That was covered on the Val Raven review we did, but it is actually a cool ride type. And then I guess the name is the other big thing of note. Not a DC superhero, not Looney Tunes. It's not a IP. It's just their own name.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's a good trend. I don't know where that came from, but maybe they're listening to us on the show. I don't know. Because everybody does.
That's right.
Rocky Mountain listens to us. That's how come they toned it down and matured. And now the Six Flags management's listening to us, and they're going back to original names. Jersey Devil, and now
Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger.
Because why not? It doesn't have to always be the next Batman or Superman or Aquaman or Green Lantern or whatever.
I mean, yeah, they're still doing that, but at least they're mixing in some original stuff, which I like.
Well, it's a couple in a row now, though.
Mm-hmm.
At least as far as larger size coasters. So I like this trend. Hope they keep it up.
Yeah. Pirates of Spelunker Cave at Six Flags Over Texas. So they're revamping their dark ride, which has been closed for a number of years.
This is funny. This is one of those. I don't know if it's a be careful what you wish for, because I want original names and concepts, but now that I'm seeing them, they just seem silly to me. I can't help but laugh. But no, I do. If you're listening, Six Flags, I do like it. You're doing the right thing. Don't take my laughter as rejection. I love it. Keep it up. We'll get there together. You'll come up with better names eventually, but these first round of ones are a little silly. But I do like it. So what the hell is this?
It's a dark ride. So you remember the old Yosemite Sam Gold Rush River, whatever the hell that was called?
It wasn't named after him, was it? I don't think he was even in it.
Yeah, Yosemite Sam and the Gold River Adventure.
Oh, that's funny because I don't really remember him in there.
It's been closed since 2018, since September 2018.
Something happened, right? It flooded.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad they're not just like getting rid of the dark ride idea altogether. They want a dark ride in that park, and that's great.
That's awesome. And they do have Justice League, so they're actually going to go with two dark rides. I don't know if I ever thought I'd see the day. A Six Flags park putting in an original concept dark ride.
Yeah, that's great. That's
again, it's not Looney Tunes what it's replacing, and it's not superheroes, nor is it some odd choice of a movie tie-in or something, which they've even done a few of those things, or Tony Hawk or something stupid. It's actually an original concept. Wow.
Yeah, and
the name even sounds like it should have existed when the park opened.
Well, it is a callback.
Right?
The old dark ride that they had for many years was Spelunker's Cave. There was that same attraction, that same dark ride with the arrow boats and the trough and all that.
Oh, wow.
So that was there from 1964 to 1991. So now it's the Pirates' turn.
All right.
They're taking over. So this I'm excited about.
State-of-the-art animatronics throughout the ride. Cinema-style wide projection technology. So they're doing it all. They're going for it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we're going to do Universal and Disney and a callback to our original dark ride. We're doing it all. It's not all screens, not all animatronics. They're promising both. Well, this is ambitious. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I mean, I did like the Looney Tunes one, Yosemite Sam, and the Gold River Adventure. We did it twice.
Yeah.
We actually sacrificed roller coaster time, and I think we inserted it into our final run to make sure we got it again because it was that good. And I look forward to something even more retro. Wow. Okay. Cool. Let's do it. And I guess they are. I just see here too in the copy they are also opening that Aquaman Power Wave next year.
Yeah, that was something that was supposed to open in 2020.
Which I believe we talked about that, right?
We did, yeah.
I am very interested to see how that works out and if more parks end up getting that.
Yeah, that will be interesting because most parks got rid of their shoot-the-shoots, and this could be the new shoot-the-shoots. Who knows?
Yeah, and we need more in-park water rides.
And we do, yeah.
So, okay, what's next?
Tumbili? Don't know how to say it. It's a bad name.
I believe it's Tumbalai. Tumbalai. This is bad on a lot of levels.
Oh, yes.
They even screwed up the name. I mean, it's tumbly. Like, oh, you're tumbling around. I get it. I mean, is that a real word? Is that a real African word?
I think it means monkey.
It means monkey.
So this is an SNS 40 free spin coaster going into King's Dominion. This is what is replacing Volcano.
So it's like the monkeys swinging on the vines or something, or on the trees.
I guess so. I still don't like the name.
But I think that they thought that was cool because it was like, it's also like you're tumbling around.
Yeah.
Like it works on multiple levels. If it has real meaning, it's a little better. I'll say that, but it is also original.
Yeah.
You do have to keep that in mind. I mean, this is now we're into Cedar Fair, and they don't, they're not doing superheroes or whatever. I guess Snoopy's the only thing they pay for. But anyway, now I think I'm going to give you the floor on this one. I think this is going to be our new segment, Andrew's rants.
There are a bunch of problems with this, or a bunch of problems that I have with this. So you're replacing a Volcano, and I get that they just had to scrap the ride finally. It was just a nightmare to keep up with. The maintenance was just too much. It was too finicky. I get that they finally just had to take it out back and shoot it. But this is what you replace it with, just like an off-the-shelf SNS 40 free spin ride. It's nothing unique. There are way too many of these going in. Now it's like almost every park has one. They're fun rides, but I don't need to have one in every park. It's like those Premier Skyrocket 2s, like the Tempesto and Tigris and all that, where it's like, I don't need one in almost every park. They're fun rides. I'm not saying they're not fun, but give it a rest. And I think it's like a smaller model than what Six Flags has been putting in. It might be smaller than like Joker.
Believe it or not, they managed to find an even smaller version of it. It's not a huge ride to start with, the ones that Six Flags has been doing, but it's smaller. It's shorter. It's not as wide. You know, if you've done the other ones, like we have done a bunch of them, it's going to seem really short because, you know, you're used to something being a certain way, and then now this is even shorter. Not a good call.
No, so this is really just a slap in the face in every way. You know, Volcano was one of the most unique things, one of the most unique coasters ever made. Launching invert and 2 launches, and that second launch you go straight up 90 degrees at the top of the volcano. It was crazy. It was cool, and they have fire coming out of the top of that thing. Now you just replace it with some stock SNS 40 free spin coaster, a smaller one at that, with a terrible name. It just sucks.
They should have just done another mouse. They already have a mouse in the park. What the fuck? Let's do another one.
Another mouse. It's almost as bad as that.
Or they did this in a couple of their parks, Cedar Fair, like a new flat ride section, but it's just like a scrambler or a tilt-a-whirl and a music express or something. It's just like the really typical older flats, not even anything interesting. It's like something like that. It's like they may as well have just done that.
So yeah, it's like they're replacing one of the most unique things ever made with one of the most generic things ever made.
Yeah, well, or it's become that.
It's become that. Yeah,
I mean, it's not a generic in its concept. Actually, it's pretty neat.
Okay, that's true.
And interesting. The problem is though that there's nowhere else to go with it besides making it either a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, and they actually went shorter, oddly enough. They didn't even maybe do that, where it's like, well, it's the new longest one. Like added a whole other level to it.
Right.
So like a third level of winding around. And, you know, it might almost be too much at that point, but, you know, whatever. It's something to hang your hat on. There was nothing that they were going to announce besides a B&M invert that was going to suffice for me.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and that's what they should have done.
As far as the 2 Kings parks goes, this was Dominion's version of Losing Son of Beast, and nothing short of Banshee 2 is going to suffice. And that's the end of the story. This needed to be another Banshee. Then it could have even been called Tumbili. That's fine. I don't care. Keep the Congo area alive. I don't hate that because it is unique. Outside of Disney's Adventureland, how many like African themed areas are there in parks? It's very rare. I'm sure there's something out there someone could come up with, but it's rare.
Yeah, well, Worlds of Fun, don't they have?
Worlds of Fun. Well, because it's all different continents and things. Yeah. And then of course Busch Gardens Tampa, the whole thing is Africa. I do understand that. Overall, in the overall scheme of things, it's still unique. They didn't do the Frontierland. They did this instead at this park. But this had to be a world-class, large-scale B&M invert. Even if we had to wait a couple more years, it would have been worth it. If they had to build up some more budget money and do it in 24, it still would have been worth it. This is a big mistake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The kick in the pants is the fact that it's replacing Volcano, you know, and Tomb Raider for that matter. If you want to get even crazier with this, because they also tore that down, so it's also replacing a really cool flat ride.
Yeah, this is stupid. I don't like this.
So there you go, Kings Dominion. Great job. You fucked it up. So now the park still has no inverted coaster and is also just aggravating us at the same time.
So speaking of the 40 free spins,
No.
Dragon Slayer at Adventureland, Iowa is also a 4D free spin, and it looks like it's the same model that Tumbly's going to be, that smaller model.
Why not? Why not?
So yeah, I mean, yet again, another park putting in another one of these. Now, this is probably not a bad move because Dragon was not a good ride.
Okay, this one's actually, is it open?
It is
a
open.
Picture with people waiting and everything. Okay.
It is open.
It is noticeably smaller. Seeing a wide shot of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is also a noticeably smaller park. So in this case, this is okay. Like, we can give Adventureland a pass. This is actually better than what it's replacing, and also, it's a small park, and they don't have a lot of space, and they don't have the money that big chains do. So. Yeah, this is more okay. All right. That was a quick one. What else?
This one is real quick because we just don't have any info. Fun Spot in Atlanta did announce that they're going to put in a Rocky Mountain, but no details. So, no idea.
Did I know they had one in Atlanta? Did I even know that?
I didn't know before this, I don't think, because this is going to be like the first major coaster.
Oh, okay. It's been a smaller thing, an FEC kind of thing.
I think pretty much.
And now they're going to hit the big time. That's interesting. That's the new, the CCI to put you on the map.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
No, again, back in our day, back in the 90s into the early 2000s, that was any tiny little place could put in a kick-ass little CCI and they would put them on the map. And then in later years, it expanded a little bit to like SNS would. But you get yourself a Rocky Mountain and instant fame and notoriety. You become a destination, at least for a short time. All right, well, fine. What's next?
Indiana Beach. They bought an old Schwarzkopf traveling coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling one of those moves.
That's an old move. Six Flags did that.
Six Flags. Yes, they did. God.
At one point.
At Discovery Kingdom, yep.
Dorney Park.
Dorney Park.
Pre-Cedar Fair, Dorney Park had done that.
And so Dreer looping.
Drews are looping?
I don't know if
your
I'm
own
pronouncing
coaster?
that. Yeah, I don't know.
You're getting your own coaster, buddy. The American Druiser looping machine. I like it.
So 3 inversions, I guess 3 loops.
What a great story. We came so close to losing this entire park. And it was saved. And now they're putting in a roller coaster. A new one. This is great. I like that. I look forward to going back there. Mostly because of those Woodies were really fun. That cornball was really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But now, I don't know, crazy, compact, formerly traveling Schwarzkopfs are always ridiculous. Always heavy G-force. Usually, if they don't change it, or if they're not forced to change it, it'll just be like lap bars, simple lap bars. I'm looking forward to this. This is great.
It's at least from 1984. So it's kind of an old ride, but they're still gonna run it. Still got some life. So
triple looping.
I am glad that this Schwarzkopf is surviving, because that's a brand that is almost gone in this country.
Well, it's going to come down to Revolution and Super Duper Looper.
Probably, yeah.
I think those two will endure. But in some ways, those are not the full Schwarzkopf experience. Because, what he really did was push the envelope and do the borderline blackout G-force traveling style rides. That's really what he really did. The couple times that he was contracted with major parks, he toned it down, or I think he may have worked with alongside Intamin on those or something. There's some other mix of manufacturer in those. He was the lead designer, but I think they were Intamin built. So those are a little bit different. So to preserve classic through and through Schwarzkopf, yeah, that's worth it. All right, what else I got?
Last one, Knotz's Bear-E Tales Return to the Fair. They rethemed their dark ride, their shooter dark ride. It was, what was it called? Steel Reef, Iron Reef, something like that.
Wait a minute. They gave it the Rocky Mountain name. Now that I think about it, there was a ride called Reef.
Voyage to the Iron Reef. That's what it was.
Voyage to the okay.
So this is what? This is actually like a throwback to their old.
That was
Dark Ride?
awful, by the way. I don't know. I don't know if we ever reviewed it officially, but that was terrible.
It wasn't good. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but it wasn't very good.
No, that felt too much like a video game.
Well, it felt really cheap. The whole thing.
Yeah, it was just really, and I think it was kind of short. That was not good. So this, I look forward to something else.
So yeah, this has got to be a step up, I would hope, because I think this is a callback to an earlier Dark Ride that they had, right?
Yeah, this is one of their classic. I don't know if it was the first one that was in that building or not. It may have been, but Knott's Berry Tales, about a community of bears bearing it up to the bare end.
So now you're going to shoot them.
They've overpopulated themselves, and we need to get the population down. So hunting season has been opened. Every guest gets a rifle and fire away.
No, it looks like you're actually shooting jam. I guess boysenberry jam at bears? I don't know.
You're shooting boysenberry because that's going to keep them away?
I don't know. That's what the guns are. The guns are like jam jars on their side.
I see that. Jam jars.
And they have the pullback just like Toy Story Mania or Midway Mania.
They copied that. So is it all going to be screens then, though?
I guess it has to be. I don't know.
Because the original, it was, like their small world, like a lot of parks did. I like the idea. This is, I guess this is sort of similar to the Spelunker thing. Like we're going to call back to an earlier Dark Ride that people remember and liked, but give it a new spin. In this case, though, they're going to do the interactive shooting gallery thing. I guess it just really comes down to how they execute it. Here we go again, more original concept. This is something that was created for this park.
There's a lot to like about this ride. I like that Knott's is keeping a Dark Ride. That's always good. I like that they're doing a callback to an older ride. And I like that it's original concept. So there's a lot to like here.
I guess now, looking at this entire list of what we talked about, I think it might be the two Dark Rides that I'm most excited about.
Probably.
Because in the end, all the coasters were just kind of like anywhere from just downright disappointing, like Tumbili, to just sort of like, I'll get there when I get there, like Iron Gwazi. And then that's about it. And then there's nothing that's like, oh, I can't wait. I got to change my vacation plans next year. Nothing like that. And the Dark Rides aren't that level either. But I am just on a just scale of ranking these, I am more excited about the Dark Rides.
Yeah, I am too. Okay, some stuff closed, so we should go through that.
So now for the in memoriam section, we're gonna play some somber music and show you some sad pictures. These rides are no longer.
All right, the biggest one by far is Wicked Twister at Cedar Point.
Ah, man, and this one, yeah, it kind of hurts.
It's so weird. That came out of nowhere.
It's weird that Cedar Point is going down a roller coaster. I mean, at this point, they didn't stand a chance because Magic Mountain really stacked the deck. But if there was any question still, this is official. Cedar Point has given up on the most roller coasters in one park title. But still, regardless of that, they still haven't torn any rides out for a long time. And now they're starting. I mean, they did Disaster Transport, but that did get an immediate roller coaster replacement. This is weird. Wicked Twister takes up almost no space. There's not really anything they could really put there except for the same kind of thing. Just some weird. They could put, a Skyrocket ride. What is this? Is that the Skyrocket 2?
Yeah. Oh, that would be such a bad move for that park.
But they can't do too much with that space. Were those spikes a little too tall? Is it starting to crack? Is it starting to become a danger?
Yeah, it has to be something. It has to be, I guess, just a maintenance nightmare, and they're sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird, and if you watch it close enough, it can be creepy. Those bikes do wave in the air a lot during every ride cycle. Mm-hmm. So it could just be that ride type does have a limited lifespan that's shorter than most coasters, steel coasters especially, and that maybe it's just time. It did go in 2002. So almost 20 years. That's a shame, though. I liked it. I really liked that ride. That was one of the cases where bigger was better. I like that better than the smaller Impulse that's been cloned in various parks. I like this version better. I like that rear twist. Always tried to ride Wicked Twister toward the back of the train to get more of that rear twist up, and then ultimately back down. I'm saddened, I must say.
I really like that ride a lot. That's really too bad. Oh well.
I never thought I'd be upset about an intimate closing, but this tested that, and I'm kind of, it's like, yeah, you know what? This kind of sucks.
The Canopy Corkscrew. Done.
Oh, don't get me started. Now you're going to get me on this. Another arrow goes down. I'm just happy that I actually got to ride it because you didn't, right? We did a trip there together and we ran out of time, or was it closed? Did it close midday or something? Something happened and we couldn't ride it.
Wasn't
so
open.
I'm just glad that I got back there and got to ride it. And I rode the fuck out of it. I think I did it like 4 or 5 times, which is crazy for just a corkscrew. But there's so few arrows left that when I get one, I just got to do it. And there's never a wait, which I guess should tell you something. I mean, I guess I should always see that writing on the wall, like any arrow almost anywhere, maybe outside of like Loch Ness Monster. And maybe I could see maybe on a crowded day, Viper at Magic Mountain probably still gets a line. But most other arrows anywhere else, like the loopers, they're like walk-ons all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, just another one. I mean, we know it's going to happen. I know I'm going to live to see pretty much all of them demolished.
All right.
So that's a shame. And you never did it, so it's a credit that you would never get.
Oh, well.
So I'll always have that one on you, too.
You've got like 50 on
know.
me.
That many? No.
I don't know. You got a bunch on me that I'll never get.
Maybe 10 we can come up with. But yeah, now it's another one, though. That's a shocker.
Okay. Cheetah at Wild Adventures.
Cheetah Hunt, finally. Thank God. They finally realized they put in a piece of shit. No? Oh. What is it?
Cheetah. Wild Adventures in Georgia. CCI. Another CCI down.
Oh. They're not going to Rocky Mountain it?
Nope.
They're just tearing it down?
That's it.
I forget that place is still open. We've never gotten there because it's in such a weird... It's like in purgatory between Atlanta and Orlando. It's an area that you don't really ever have to traverse. I think even if you drove Atlanta to Orlando, I don't think you had to go through that spot. You'd have to go out of your way. It is just... and it's just... There's never been anything really great in that park to want to go there. And ironically enough, I think the unique wooden ride might have been one of the better things on the list, at least on paper.
Oh, I think that was probably the most interesting thing that they had.
The rest is a bunch of like Vekoma shelf models, I believe. It's like an SLC and a roller skater and a boomerang.
Yep, that's what they got.
There's officially no reason to go there.
This would have been a reason, but nope, it's gone. Okay, this is another sort of big one. Primeval Whirl at Animal Kingdom. Finally done.
Oh, what? My head exploded. That's official. They're done.
Yeah, they like trucked off the cars. The cars are gone.
Who bought them? Kennywood?
And did they even start to dismantle it? Maybe, or they will soon. Yeah, I mean, these are 2 coasters that Disney should not have put in the first place.
Oh yeah,
shitty Revercon spinning mouse and 2 of them. Terrible ride. This one is actually good. This will be an improvement for this park.
I've ridden both. Have you ridden both?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Toaster Cat didn't.
Oh.
She only ever got one side, so she's done. I'll always have that on her.
Okay.
They should never have done it in the first place.
Right.
But what are they going to do? Disney's not even doing anything new anymore, right? So what are they going to put there?
Something themed to Marvel or Toy Story.
Actual parking lot?
Actual parking lot. There you go.
They'll just have employees start parking their cars over there to add to the whole look of that area. And that's that was not a good installation, but now that whole Chester and Hester's dino thing is just even more lame.
Oh, yeah. It's one hub and spoke ride now?
It's a hub and spoke, a gift shop, and some games.
No, that area was shit to begin with. And yeah, and now it's just even sadder.
That's good.
It is good. Actually, as an improvement because they should not have put that in to begin with.
It is, but it's you gotta just close the whole area now.
Oh really. Yes, you gotta redo it. You gotta redo the whole area.
You gotta admit that the whole thing was a failure and just restart.
Yeah.
So it took them a while. That's like when they took those S&S towers in California Adventure down, like after only like 6 seasons or something, like 6 years. But it took them a lot longer to admit this mistake.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was around since 2002.
Yeah, and they still have the mouse though in California Adventure,
They still do. That's right.
which is another giant mistake. Yeah, now it's not just that it's mouse coasters, but it's also that it was the worst type,
Oh, yeah. Those
The
Revercon
uncomfort-
spinning ones. Yeah, they were absolutely terrible. All right.
and that was insensitive anyway. That was it's too soon.
the
It's only been a few billion years. It's too soon. It's just you're just making fun of the dinosaurs' plight. That's not nice.
extinction of the dinosaurs too soon.
Yeah, that's not nice. That wasn't nice. They have to take that. It was making it all cartoony and fun.
Maybe
It wasn't fun for those
them.
guys.
It wasn't fun for those. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't
fun.
there. I don't know.
I don't think they like being extinct.
Okay,
they didn't
maybe
like
they
that.
did. You know what though? They evolved into birds, and birds are fine.
And birds, yeah, they get their revenge on us every day by shitting on our heads.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go.
At Six Flags St. Louis, Superman Tower of Power, their Intamin drop tower, gone, done, and their antique cars.
They modified those antique cars. Didn't they make it so that they went around that Evil Knievel?
I believe
Ride.
so.
So they even went through the effort of keeping them at some point not that long ago. I guess it was a while ago now. But now they're pulling the plug. I don't know. I that's a weird one. We were saying like 10 or more years ago, like all gas-powered car attractions have to be on the chopping block, right? We would say that to ourselves. It just makes sense. I mean, like, it just seemed weird that they were still doing that, and yet it's gone the other way. And Cedar Fair's put them in a couple of parks, and like, so I don't know what to really think about that. Like, antique cars are just a weird thing. Like, every once in a while, a park pulls one out, but then also every once in a while, a park puts them in. And they're still very viable and have long lines at the parks that they have them. So I don't know what it is, but driving around a little shaky, vibrating, a phony version of an antique Ford Model T of some sort or something, like people like it. I don't know why, but they do. I guess I even kind of do. So I don't know why I even do, but I do. Like I did Kings Islands. I had to.
Yeah.
Because they were new and I did them.
Yeah, and you shat on
wasn't
that when we announced it.
And then I did it anyway.
I thought it was a pretty good addition. I was like, oh, that'll be fun. And you were like, no, why is that fun?
I don't know. It's something. I don't know. So and now that the world is going ever more into the electric cars, like for real, like on our actual cars that we're going to be driving.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll actually make these even more interesting to everybody and more fun and because it's like eventually it's going to be like you don't drive gas powered cars anymore at all. There's eventually going to be a generation of kids, maybe the ones that are already born now, that will never drive a gas powered car. And so then doing it in a park might be a novelty and they'll be like, oh, this is great.
It's like Disneyland. It's like up to them. Land and World. It's up to those parks if they want to keep their cars gas powered or not. Everyone else is going to pull the plug, I think.
You think Hershey Park though? It's always like 45-minute to an hour wait on
yeah, I
their
don't
Twin
know.
Turnpike. Dorney Park, the one you could see the entire track from like standing there
Yeah.
in the queue, like that always has a line though somehow.
Okay.
Kings Islands is new. I think it was it Valley Fair that just put the new ones in too recently. Cedar Point still keeps at least one of the two tracks around.
Mm-hmm. No, they're still there, but are they all gas powered? I don't know.
Those are all the ones I'm naming. Yeah, I think are all the gas powered ones.
Even the new ones? Kings Island putting gas powered cars?
They're gas powered cars. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know they were.
That's what we're talking about
gas-powered.
here. Yes, they put in brand new gas powered cars.
Oh, that's just weird. Okay.
Kings Dominion never got rid of theirs, and they're still gas powered. But anyway, this park's getting rid of them. That's fine. I never did them there. I don't care. I guess the bigger news is the power tower. Tower power.
Tower power.
Just the end of its life, maybe.
I guess, it was one of those second gen towers, most efficient thrill.
Yeah, those are all old now, though.
Yeah.
Because, Intamin doesn't even make those anymore. And those things, they sound, they have all those extra clanks and bangs.
Yeah.
When it hits the top and then when it hits the bottom, they just sound nasty coming down. Like metal hitting metal. You just hear it as it comes down. So I could see it just being at the end of its life and just needs to go. The only thing is that park going to actually put another one in, another tower? It's too bad. We did do it. I'm happy about that.
All right. Next thing is they're taking out the Sky Ride at Six Flags Over Georgia. So another Sky Ride down.
That is a shame. That is one that I never got to do. It looked like it was useful.
Yeah, it was actually like a functioning transportation ride because that
Like it went
that park is very hilly.
straight up. It's hilly and quite large, and
Yeah.
like all the original Six Flags are, at least quite large. And it went from like the front to the back, like straight up. So that's unfortunate. I thought we were done with that. I thought back in the '90s, a whole bunch went away, and I thought like whoever kept it was going to keep it now, pretty much for good. So I'm kind of disappointed that now we're getting into that. I hope this doesn't become a trend. So that's a bummer.
Yep. At Darien Lake, they are taking out the rapids. Grizzly Run.
Well, it took longer than they thought, but Hershey was right. Rapids are eventually going to go away. They got ahead of that trend. We saw Carowinds close theirs,
Yep.
and now Darien Lake. Well, this makes more sense. I still don't get Carowinds because it's so hot down there. But upstate New York, it's whatever. We didn't do it.
Nope, missed it.
We did a great episode on that. I don't remember now though, which if I had to guess, that's probably like a middle period Hopkins one.
No, it was an Intamin.
No, it wasn't Intamin.
Yeah, 1989.
Oh, so like a later period Intamin. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
never know.
I mean, it's too bad.
All right, and then we got our last two. So at Kennywood's actually removing 3 or 4 rides, I think, but I'm only mentioning 2 here, the 2 that I care about. They're taking out Kangaroo,
No, you can't do that. That's a big mistake.
John Norman Bartlett. Yeah, from 1962.
That was a kind of a cool ride.
Yeah, that was fun.
Got some airtime.
It was a little different, yeah. So they're removing that and their Enterprise. So another Enterprise down. Volcano.
We never did that, I don't think.
I don't remember doing it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we didn't. We did Kangaroo, I think, a couple times at least.
Yes.
Well, I mean, whatever. Enterprise, if it's time to go, it's time to go. But the Kangaroo, I mean, that's like what that park's about. We're about the history and preserving things from the past. So what's going on? They're done with that? They're going to just start tearing everything else out and just go all modern? Because that was part of their charm. So that just seems really odd to me. Like I mean, I can understand it. They're finding cracks in the steel or something, but just rebuild it then. This is what you do. This is what sets you apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides the locals, this is why anyone from anywhere else would travel to that dump of a city that's Pittsburgh.
Whoa.
That dirty city. Come on, it always looks gross when you go there.
Wow. Really
It's
taking
all-
a dump on Pittsburgh here.
The air is smoke filled and it is. I'm pretty sure it was the city of Pittsburgh. Bret Hart was right in a classic promo from the 90s when he said, if you were going to give the United States an enema, Pittsburgh is right where you'd stick it.
Oh, God.
I'm paraphrasing. It's not exactly his verbiage, but it was something to that effect.
It's a weird thing to say.
He said to the crowd once. Obviously, he went heel at that point, but and I'm a PA guy now, but Pittsburgh is not a great city. At any rate, it's not your typical regional park. It's got the history, the old mill, the Kangaroo, a classic carousel, the Whip, which I don't know why they haven't rebuilt the roof yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? The auto race? Is that what it's called?
Oh, auto race,
It's like that.
Totally yes.
The turtle or the tumbler, whatever it's called.
I think that's the only operating one of those in the country
Yeah, so-
left, right? I think like that.
Noah's Ark. Yeah, I mean,
The only Noah's Ark left, and
Bunch
then the
of-
classic wood coasters. The only the Mobius Strip racing coaster left, or one of the only ones ever built, actually. And then Thunderbolt has its own weird history of being a mishmash of coasters thrown together, and then Jackrabbit, the gimmicky, the boomerang of its day. It's this classic piece of coaster history, or I guess it's more like it was like the vertical drop, a gimmicky kind of ride but now it's the only thing like it. So it's awesome, and they run these rides with the original rolling stock. And that's what makes this park awesome. So this is a bad trend. Don't start doing this. Don't start pulling your shit out. So that's one of those where I cannot agree on any level. Even if they had to completely, do new metal spokes out to each car or something, if that was getting too much stress or something, it would have been worth, I think, the expense to do it, because they're the history park. That's what you do. There's a couple others like it in the country, but you're one of the prominent ones. Stick with it. Don't lose it. Yeah, I mean, you're doing other cool stuff. I mean, there are places that are like 70s, 80s log flume with a really awesome new, at least on paper, and we still haven't done it yet, awesome new steel coaster. But you got to juxtapose that with keeping your history too. So I don't understand this kangaroo move.
And that's all I got.
All right, all in all, not too bad.
No, it definitely could have been worse.
All right, so we're back. We're the same as ever. Take it for what you will.
Yeah, we got some other episodes in the pipeline. They'll be coming at you pretty soon.
Yes, more interesting episodes, we promise. We're going to do some different stuff. We're not just going to talk about rides. Coming and going. But this was kind of fun. We needed to kind of warm up and get ourselves back in the swing of things here. So it's good to be back.
Back in the sack.
Good to have you guys back. Thanks for riding.